Good morning, everyone. Today I'll be talking about Native American artifacts. I have been collecting artifacts for about 7 years now. It's kind of a hobby that my dad and I do. We've put on shows. We've done shows all across Florida, Southeast. We also go to shows all the time. It's really a fun hobby, very manual labor-like, a little bothersome at that. But you know, you get a nice tan. I don't have a nice tan now, but it's fine. Go into this. We'll start with the time periods of Native American artifacts. Paleo-Indian, this will be the first contact of when Indians start making tools, start making arrowheads, spears, all this stuff. 10,000 BCE, that's before Christ existed. It goes back to about 14,000 years ago. This is right as the Ice Age started, you know, doing mammoths, all that stuff. Archaic, they split that up into 3 different categories. They have early, late, and middle archaic. Woodland period, that's getting more into the modern times, about 3,000 years ago up till about 1,000 years ago. And Mississippian, you know, this way. Paleo-Indian, these are the biggest of the arrowheads. These are not actually arrowheads, they're spear points. These would be on the end of a long stick. These are used to kill mammoths. These have great attention to detail. Clovis points, talking 4 inches. They have some up to 11 inches. Those are more for ceremonies and stuff. Different points from all around the United States. These would be, fun fact, a nice one sold last year for $200,000, just for a rock. So it's awesome. Archaic, this is split up. Let's go into early archaic. These are going to be still larger points. These would be shafted to either sticks, depending on the size, or you could do atlatls, what they call them. They hunted big game. There wasn't any mammoths around at this time. There still would be, you know, large game, like huge elk, huge deer, those kind of things. About 10,000 years ago. We'll go into middle archaic. Points are getting a little smaller now, getting a little faster. They did start working with aerodynamics on the arrowheads, which would be beveling. And you basically take the sides, make them sideways, cause the arrow to spin in the air. It's really awesome. Getting smaller. The attention to detail is not so much an issue now. They're going more for, you know, how it works. Late archaic, getting even smaller, becoming more crude. They're not the best arrowheads you can find. There are some still that you dig up. They have great attention to detail, amazing arrowhead. It was about 3,000 years ago, around that time. Then we go into the woodland period. These are really small. These might be shafted to atlatls, but also they would start to go into the bow and arrows. These would be hunted for deer. The deer are getting smaller, animals getting smaller. Some of them do bird shots. As you can see, these are pretty small. These have a huge concentration on aerodynamics since they will be traveling over 150 miles an hour. They want to fly straight. They will do beveling. They will have advanced tactics on how to attach it to the arrowhead or the shaft. Mississippian period, real small points, as you can see here. Think of your fingers, small points. These will be mostly used on bows. They're getting really flat, really thin. They used to shoot birds, used to shoot other small game. And then we go into modern period. Modern period, they started working with metal. Metal, they make it really thin, really flat. They still have some stone, but they've kind of transferred it into metal. This is a little more durable, easier to attach to things. Still hunted very small game since, you know, points aren't exactly the largest things. How did they be used? This is a paleo time period. We thrown on a spear. They did have some atlatls going into paleo archaic period. This is an atlatl. I don't know if any of them know what it is. It's basically a stick with a little hook on the end. You attach it. It's a long shaft, kind of like a spear, and you just kind of whip it, and it goes. They tried some. They go up to about 140 miles an hour. Is how they can whip it. And then modern period, going into woodland and all that, they started using the bows. Some of the jewelry that they had, beads. Beads didn't start until about 1500s when Columbus made first contact here in Florida. They started trading with the Indians for clothing, for shelter, food, stuff like that. So they give them beads. Some of the beads were made out of stone, some were made out of glass, some were made out of bones, other random things. I do have a collection of beads, probably about 3,000 or so, all from about the 15th century. They're really awesome. A lot of them have designs. There are chevrons, they call them. There's 7 different colors. They have onions. They do designs, but beads from here are from 1500. The ones you see with the Seminoles are only within the last couple hundred years. They're a lot bigger, a little more design on them. Plummets, these would be used for fishing. They also wear them as parts of their necklaces. They have them in different rows. They can be made out of stone, bone, all these cool artifacts. And then I have a neighbor that comes over all the time. He has a gold plummet. And I don't have a picture of it, unfortunately. But there's a gold plummet that he has. It's pure 22 karat gold, about this big, and it's, I think, 14 ounces. And amazing. Gorgets. Gorgets were only used by the kings of the tribe. The people that were in charge of everybody would get a gorget. In a site that we've been digging for 4 years now, only 6 of them have come up, and that site has been being dug for the last 60 years. So pretty rare. Usually find them near huts if you can find an area that you think might have a hut. Definitely go digging for that. Then we get into pottery. Pottery didn't start until about 3,000–4,000 years ago. They do have different designs on the pottery. This is check stamp pottery. Thumb pottery, they take their thumbnail and they grow it out, and they would decide to put little designs around the ring of it. And this is a whole one, which is extremely rare to find. You usually find them in little chunks. Annoying. It's awesome if you can find parts that go together. But usually you find shards not too big. And then we get into other artifacts. It doesn't stop there. There's so much stuff you can do with all these things. But some knives, they might take an arrowhead if the bottom of it broke off. They'll attach it to a knife. They have other knives, axes. This is actually a mammoth tooth. Every time you go to a show, someone always brings something awesome. They have a bunch of mammoth teeth, toes. There's a saber-toothed tiger head that people bring in as a skull. Pipes, smoke opium, so always gotta have the pipe. And then effigies. Effigies, they make little figurines out of stone, whatever. They'll make them look like birds, humans, anything, owls, all that stuff. These are arrowheads from the Library of Congress. I went there 2 years ago and said don't take a picture, but I had to take a picture because these are awesome. But these are one of a kind. These are effigies / arrowheads. As you can see, little heads that they worked into them. Awesome examples, the best that I have ever seen, and probably will see for a while. I'm going to leave you today with the question of, has anyone ever found an